Hello, and welcome to Video Games and Your Brain. Video games have long had a reputation for being a bad influence on their fan base. My project aims to figure out if these claims... Is this actually recording? Because I think it's not. To figure out if these claims have any sort of merit. One observation that might point to a solution to the problem is the Tetris effect. The Tetris effect occurs when people devote so much time and attention to an activity that it begins to pattern their thoughts, mental images, and dreams. This effect has been reported to change the way people who play Tetris for long amounts of time think about shapes, supposedly causing them to think about how they fit together, or even to hallucinate images of Tetris blocks. Although it is called the Tetris effect, it does not apply exclusively to Tetris. This example of psychological effects of video games on the brain has been relatively harmless, but many people have also connected video games to more harmful events. One of these events was the Columbine Massacre. The Columbine Massacre, which was commonly associated with video games. The link between the shootings and video games was one of the shooters, Eric Harris' obsession with Doom. Harris was an avid Doom player and released many of his own levels for Doom, which have now been removed from most websites and played online with one of the other shooters, Dylan Klebold, and classmate David Proctor. His love for the game alone was not the main contributing factor to this connection, though the main reason being some of his statements and writings regarding the game. I don't know if what I read was coherent for the past 30 seconds. Before the shooting, a videotape had been recorded with Harris saying that the shooting would be like Doom, and that the shotgun he used was straight out of Doom. A more incriminating quote, however, is within his personal notes saying that Doom is so burned into my head, my thoughts usually have something to do with the game. While these quotes show that one of the shooters was thinking of Doom in regards to the shooting and draws some sort of connection, it doesn't really seem to me that there is any sort of causation to the shootings because of Doom. Considering that Doom is one of the most popular games ever released, selling over 4 million copies between Doom 1 and 2, not including its shareware downloads. This is the only well-documented case pointing to a connection between Doom and shootings. Even if there was some sort of causation between Doom and the shootings, it would be illogical to use it to say that all video games can cause harmful effects, especially since it was easily one of the most violent games released at the time. The amount of violence in a game might also dictate what kind of effect is caused. One experiment claims that kids who play violent video games have less self-control, using an experiment done on 172 teenagers. Half of the kids were allowed to play a violent game and the other half a non-violent game, and were later tested with 3 different experiments. One was a test where teens were allowed to play a really loud, annoying sound and blast their partner's ears through headphones. And another was a test where they gave them M&Ms next to a computer, watch how much they would eat. And the last was a logic test with the reward of raffle tickets that the teens had to give themselves for each question they got right. They found in each test, each teen who played a violent game did worse by playing sounds longer, eating more candy, and cheating. Along with the amount of violence in a game, another possible factor could be the specific genre of game, as it is known that Wii Sports has been used to rehabilitate victims of accidents or diseases that cause a physical disability. How do the different genres of games affect the brain, and could some be better than others. While there are a lot of sources that will report that video games definitely have a negative effect on players, there are a number of scientific studies that say otherwise. One article set out to find out whether or not the hippocampus was damaged by playing video games excessively. The results of this study reported not only that the hippocampus is not damaged by video games, but also that video games could help to improve attention spans. In this project, I'd like to explore more sources that can answer whether or not video games actually have a harmful effect on gamers. I play games. The result of this project is important to me as I play video games myself. It would be interesting to me to find out whether or not a hobby that I have had since early childhood could be affecting me. Since I am part of the affected group of people, it is important to make sure that I stay unbiased in my research. I will try to look at studies that are both for and against the claim that video games can be harmful to their audience. This being said, I still lean to the side that says that video games have little effect on people, as I don't think that I have been impacted greatly, except for turning this in 2 weeks in. The only experience I have an effect of video games on me was childhood obesity, which I have since then overcome while continuing to play video games. This project will help me look further into a hobby that has been a part of a large portion of my life, and help me find out how it shaped me. The effects of video games have been studied by multiple people, such as BK. I messed up. Who has done a study on first-person shooters to observe the effects that they could have on the brain. K's conclusion is that they leave a positive impact on the brain, improving decision-making skills, and reaction time. Additionally, K has also found that other genres of games can improve different parts of the brain, while both action and non-action games can increase brain power. K states that the effects of more action-packed video games eclipse the effects of non-violent video games. This raises the question of whether or not the potential negative effects of playing violent video games outweigh the benefits. This question raises yet another question of what these benefits can even be used for. To the average citizen, having boosted reaction time and better split-second decision-making skills can be a plus, but not a main selling point of video games. These attributes could be useful, but not in office work environments where critical thinking and problem solving are more useful, which can be boosted through non-violent puzzle games. To more risky professions, however, these benefits could be a huge plus. Another study by Matthew Galt takes a look at one of these risky professions, the Marine Corps Infantry. Yeah! In past attempts, the Marine Corps Infantry have made past attempts to create a cheap training method using video games. This method was a modified version of Doom 2 called Marine Doom. The game was designed by a group of Marine simulations experts led by Major Kirk Skinner and Lieutenant Louis E. something Spanish and Lieutenant Scott Barnett as the project officers, with Sergeant Snyder as one of the designers and modelers. Along with these experts, the game was designed by the Marine Corps Modeling and Simulation Management Office, MCMSMO, who obtained a copy of Doom and used it to develop a simulation that focused on mutual fireteam support, protection of the automatic rifleman, proper sequencing of attack, ammunition discipline, and succession of command. The game itself is comprised of a fire team of 4 Marines who are required to complete a set objective, the default being a destruction of an enemy bunker, as well as other scenarios such as a hostage rescue in a foreign embassy. The fire team being controlled consists of a team leader, 2 riflemen, and 1 machine gunner. The game has been used as an unofficial supplement to conventional training in order to increase the decision-making skills of the Marines playing to improve their combat ability through the previously mentioned focuses of the project. While the project was never adopted as an official training method of the Marines, the leadership thought that the game was exactly what they were looking for and encouraged Marines to play it. Doom's success as a supplement encouraged the military to keep developing video games as training, such as America's Army. By today, this still does not show any benefits that could be useful to normal citizens, however, even if it does show some signs of benefit. A study by Jane may suggest that video games can be helpful to normal workplaces as well. Jane M.G. argues in her book that games are more than just a waste of time, and that they're able to increase productivity as well as reduce depression and stress. Not sure about that one. This plays a part in her idea of a school system in which students can see themselves improving using a score to motivate them, much like a video game. This could be useful in more environments than just schools. The idea of receiving a clear report of your progress and seeing how that could benefit you helps to promote more productivity. One example of this I have seen for myself gives points for the amount of time an employee spends not looking at their phone. The result seems to be mixed in that some of the employees care little for the rewards that can be earned using the points and still use their phone. But for others, the idea of being rewarded for something as easy as not checking your phone is extremely appealing. My mom, it could be possible that some features of video games could be adapted to real life in order to reap their benefits more effectively. My producers say that they did not know why I said my mom earlier. I meant my mom in that she does not check her phone to get the points because she wants the benefits. While video games can be used to help increase productivity, it is just as likely, however, that they can decrease productivity. Video game addiction has been a known problem for a while and does not apply only to first-person shooters. It is possible to be addicted to a game of any kind, any genre, which could lead to a number of detrimental effects. One such effect can be a decrease in productivity that can snowball into much bigger problems. It could start with avoiding writing a paper for a night of games instead, telling yourself, tomorrow, for sure, and quickly can turn into a 2-week late paper and an increasingly likely chance of not graduating. The effects don't end here, however, and without the right judgment, a video game addiction can translate to physical detriments. One of these effects is childhood obesity, which is a growing epidemic in the US. One study by the National Obesity Forum says that the figures highlighted by the F as in Fat annual report, Trust for America's Health 2007 annual report, were retrieved from the Data Resource Center on Child and Adolescent Health website. The analysis of these figures reveal a strong positive correlation between hours spent on TV, video game play, and the percentage of children classed as overweight per state. The state of Utah was acclaimed with the lowest percentage of children overweight and was found to have the second lowest proportion of children spending 2 or more hours of TV video game play. The District of Columbia, found to have the highest percentage of overweight children, also had the highest percentage nationwide of children spending an incredible 4 hours plus in front of a screen. It's also not good for your eyes. This draws a strong correlation between childhood obesity and time spent playing video games. The study also goes on to say that video games should be used to motivate children to exercise and lose weight. This alternative could become increasingly popular with the invention of technology such as virtual reality and motion controls. There have been multiple attempts in the past to use these technologies to help motivate exercise, such as Nintendo's Wii Fit and Microsoft's Kinect. These methods of enticing exercises were done in 2 very different ways. The Wii Fit used a flat board that you stand on and can detect where your feet are, how much you weigh, and the pressure being applied, along with the Wii's own Wiimotes, which are motion track rectangular controllers which have had a positive use for physical therapy in the past, creating a new term for this kind of therapy called Rehab. Along with the Wii Fit's ability to track your position and weight, Along with the Wii Fit's ability to track your position and weight, the game bundled with the attachment encourages exercise and weight loss. The game, named after the pad, Wii Fit, includes a variety of mini-games to entice movement and exercise. The games themselves can range from yoga to snowboarding, and they all focus on improving a specific skill, from balance to endurance. Microsoft's Kinect functions in a different way, but aims for the same goal. The Kinect functions by tracking the motions of the player through a camera and is much like a webcam. Without the restriction of needing to stand on a pad, the Kinect offers much more freedom of movement and has a wider library of fitness games, even including Zumba. While the Kinect was semi-effective in getting people on their feet to play games rather than sitting down, it fell flat as a viable way to play video games, as its motion tracking could be extremely poor at times, and a lot of kids got slapped in the face by swinging arms, making games frustrating because of the hardware's faults rather than actual difficulty. While the Wii Fit had accurate tracking and worked quite well, it also fell flat because of the limitations it placed on actual gameplay by restricting the player to a small pad on the floor. While both of these technologies were headed in the right direction for fitness, they stopped attempting to create games, but instead fitness aids, which didn't really appeal to gamers looking to play video games. If I wanted to go to the gym, I would go to the gym. That's what they say. There is, however, one newer alternative in the form of virtual reality that encourages physical activity while at the same time having actual video games to play. While I have been able to experience both of the previously mentioned forms of exercise, virtual reality is the only one that requires anecdotal evidence. The reason for this is that it's still relatively new and has very little conclusive studies written about it, and I'm running out of material. The virtual reality device that I was able to use was the HTC Vive. The Vive consists of virtual reality of the headset and two controllers that are kind of like the Wii. You swing them around like the Wii, and you move around with the headset on your face, and it looks like you're in the game, and you run around in circles and you dodge arrows. And there's one game called Holospec, and you shoot the arrows back, and then there's a game called Audio Shield where you have a shield and you block the notes and you punch it kind of hard and it makes you sweat a little bit. And it's pretty good for exercise, but there's not enough games, and I get scared of hitting the wall, and my wires get tangled sometimes, and there's not enough games, so that's probably a problem. Also, it's $800, but that's okay because I don't have anything else to do. So that was pretty cool. I like that one. Video games, I don't know if they're good or bad. They might be. They could make you fit, but they could also make you do Columbine #2 or something. So I'm not really sure about that one. Video games, good or bad, still to be determined. Someone told me that's a bad ending, so I'll do it again. Video games, good or bad? I don't know.